You know that feeling when you know you're going to win, there's no chance of stopping you, you're guaranteed going to get that W. That is the exact same feeling that the CEO of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, had and is still having as of this day. Now, like the title says, guys, the SEC just got slammed. They actually tried to settle with Ripple, but it turned out not in their favor. And in fact, to add on top of that, the CEO of Ripple came out and said, yep, we're not taking your settlement. Screw you. We already won this lawsuit. And that is where things take a serious turn, because we are going to analyze that and more specifically talk into the details of this settlement. Now, of course, it is crucial to understand where I am coming from in this stance. You know, about 6 months ago, we were talking about a possible settlement. Everything kind of led to a settlement discussion. In fact, on top of all of that, hints that we were given, there were actually public statements from the judge of this lawsuit which told them that you guys must talk about settlements and discuss it because we are trying to find a resolution to this lawsuit. And that's exactly what happened. When it came time to speak about those discussive matters, to talk about how they could end up this lawsuit, the SEC decided to go ahead and speak to the CEO, Brad Garlinghouse. They offered a proposal that was not what Ripple was looking for. Of course, what they said is that they would end off this lawsuit, but would not guarantee that XRP is a cryptocurrency. And if you're wondering why they were doing that, it was actually because they wanted to have the opportunity to go ahead and sue Ripple or sue XRP again, and hopefully then they could win it once they've kind of settled their things. But that was a terrible idea, and the CEO of Ripple caught onto it real quick and told them, yes, this is no deal. We're not taking what you guys want. The settlement is clearly not in our favor, and on top of that, we should in fact be putting, requirements on you guys because we have all the paperwork, we have the evidence, we have the proof. What do you guys have that can make us lose this lawsuit? And it was a clear single answer. They have nothing. And the CEO knew that, the entire Ripple team knew that, everybody on the XRP community knew that. What Ripple has is all of the proof on its side. The SEC has nothing. In fact, the SEC has a couple things on their side, and all of those are negative to the lawsuit. Because if you look at what they have William's speech, which, again, that was just a demolishing point for the SEC. In fact, they had to try and backtrace to say, yeah, with the speech that, everybody's talking about, that we mentioned, is actually not something that we want to get involved with, because if we get involved with it, then it's going to be able to get used in Ripple's favor, and what that means is that we are going to lose this lawsuit. So might as well just hide away from, everything that everybody has said and say that it's their personal preference. When William Hinman said Ethereum is not a security, it was his personal opinion, which doesn't make any sense because he was not only just a part of the SEC and a senior level SEC official, but he actually made it clear by using the words we, and on multiple occasions when any business would come to the SEC and would ask him whether Ethereum or any type of cryptocurrency is a security or is not a security, they would tell him to use that speech, to have a look at William Hinman's speech and use that as the background and the basis of whether they believe the cryptocurrency is security or not. And so the fact that you have, high-level SEC officials come out and clearly, blatantly say, look at that speech is our answer, and then all of a sudden flip everything and decide, never mind, because we are going to get destroyed and everybody's going to know that we did believe that Ethereum was a cryptocurrency and that, Ethereum is not a security and this lawsuit is going to destroy us. Let's go ahead and say that William Hinman was speaking on behalf of himself. Did that work? Absolutely not. Everybody kind of figured that out. In fact, it was proved by the SEC trying to unpurposely not give documents that revealed that it was an SEC representation of their views in that speech, and it was just a clear given answer. That's why even in the latest documentation, Judge Torres deemed that all the paperwork must be given to Ripple XRP because she found out that, after 5 times of the SEC being told, give them the documents, give Ripple the documents, the SEC would still just ignore it and act as if it didn't happen. And so I think we've reached a point where at this time, it's over with. There's no point of settling. Why would anybody settle? And this is why I stand with Brad Garlinghouse and what he's doing. Why would you settle a case that you're going to win, and especially when they're giving you something that isn't even close to the winning, portion that you would be getting. I'm gonna go ahead and actually roll you this clip, guys, by BitBoy, which says, according to a reliable source, BitBoy Crypto shared that Ripple turned down the settlement with the SEC in 2021, and the Brad Garlinghouse knew Ripple had the SEC. The SEC is going to lose its power, and this was, of course, a latest video as of October 7th. But before I jump into this, I want to go ahead and reference an example as to what the SEC is providing to Ripple and how this settlement deal was canceled. Person one, let's say, is a guy that decides to hack your cryptocurrency, hack person two's cryptocurrency, and steal person two's XRP entirely. Now, one day, they decide to go to court. Now, person two says, listen, I have all the tracking evidence that proves that it's this guy, that it's person one. And person one says, you know what, let's settle this out. I'll give you 50% of the XRP that I stole from you. But guess what? Person 2 decides to tell person 1 that I don't give a shit about you, to be honest. In fact, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure I win this lawsuit by providing all the evidence that I have, and on top of that, I'm gonna press charges on you. Thus, he knows he's in the winning position. So unless person 1, the guy that stole the money, decides to just go to person 2 and tell him, listen, I'll give you everything back. On top of that, I'll say I'm sorry. Then maybe person 2 will consider and say, you know what, might as well not waste my time. And in this case that I'm using in this example, person 1 is the SEC, the guy that kind of stole the XRP, and person 2 here is XRP and Ripple with all the evidence, everything to back that they are the winning person, that they have a legitimate case, and now they are in the winning position. So they, of course, are going to ask for more than what, they originally got. Because to be honest, this lawsuit has taken them hundreds of millions of dollars. It is only fair to not only get all their money back, but on top of that, to get what they deserve, and that is XRP labeled as the first ever American recognized cryptocurrency to get it deemed guaranteed not a security, and now officially to be accepted by the global bank. And let's go ahead and roll the clips.
So I think we are in the final stages of this. I still think we don't see the end of this thing probably till Q2 of next year. It's unfortunate. Wish it would have happened sooner than that. But really, the longer this drags out, the better it's going to be for the price, because we want this to happen after Bitcoin bottoms. Then you might actually get a little more sustained price action. And I will tell you, we were very infamous for saying this thing was going to end in September of last year, and it didn't happen. But I do know someone who swears, and there's someone I know personally, this is not some random person that messaged me, that Brad Garlinghouse told him face to face that they turned down a settlement from the SEC in 2021. Why? Because Brad Garlinghouse knows they have the SEC by the balls. And I believe this is actually the beginning of the end of the SEC and crypto enforcement.
All right. Well, that's great you bring that up, because that's my next point. And that's a strong statement you just made, because Gary Gensler...
I know it's true. I know unequivocally that is true.
About the settlement.
Well, no, that the SEC is going to be losing power over crypto.
Okay. Now, as much as I know that a lot of you guys may not like BitBoy Crypto, or may feel like he is a conspiracy theorist guy that doesn't know what he's talking about, says he has some inside sources that really have no purpose, but I do have to say I definitely agree with the idea that I believe a settlement did happen and was rejected by Brad Garlinghouse. This is because I have seen the progress throughout this lawsuit. I've been looking at it for more than a year now, about 2 years, and I can tell you guys, guaranteed something has been happening within discussions. We've been labeling out, I've made videos about this constantly, talking about, okay, the first step, look at this, they're finally releasing public statements together. Oh, look, they have some type of meeting that nobody really knew that was a part of the timetable schedule that they were supposed to do. Oh, now the judge is telling them, talk together, discuss a settlement. Okay, oh, what happened? Why are they just silent for like a month where no paperwork comes out? Then all of a sudden, they're back at war with each other. So we've been able to monitor the progress, and the progress says that it is quite blatantly clear that there was some type of settlement, and it was getting closer and closer and closer, and that one point in time that I called out, I said, something is happening here. Either it's a make or break. Either the loss is going to happen or it's not going to happen. And at that point in time, you know how I found out it wasn't going to happen? When all of a sudden it went from silent. There was no paperwork coming out. Imagine documentation was going out on a daily basis. One day it just stopped. And we sat like this for a month where not a single document came out. Then all of a sudden, one day, bam, the SEC was shooting, documents left and right, trying to, go into other side cases to start new, lawsuit side cases within regards to Ripple. The SEC was hitting back so hard. It was crazy. And at that point, when I seen the flip, because it was like a 360 flip where it went from, respective, they were doing joint statements together. Imagine, they were doing freaking joint statements together, and then it went silent, and then all of a sudden everybody was doing his own thing, and now they were, okay, we want to depose William Hinman. Oh my God, look at what those documents and those emails said. We want to get those. Let's get, the SEC was coming out and saying, okay, we're going to get, information on all of their bank statements and all the financial statements of Ripple, even in multiple countries out of the US, which is really out of their jurisdiction. And they were doing just 100 things, and Ripple was doing it. XRP community was watching it, and the SEC was doing it as well. So that point in time was the time that I was like, okay, there's no more settlement. Then they definitely, something happened that triggered them. And it wasn't even like, okay, a calm settlement. It wasn't like, okay, they just slowly started to go back and put out documents. Because if that happened, then you'd know maybe, okay, maybe there was a disagreement in the negotiations and eventually they might be able to go to sort it out. But all of a sudden you see them go from 0 to 100, something triggered both the SEC and Ripple, and then boom, they were just, back to back. You get a statement by the SEC, you get a statement by Ripple, it goes back to the SEC, it goes back to Ripple. So we've seen that back and forth, and that's what kind of tells you, okay, listen, something big happened, and it would make sense if Brad Garlinghouse went out and said, your settlement deal is not even close to what I want. We're winning this lawsuit anyways, so don't talk to me until after this lawsuit's happening. And it's exciting, of course. So if you're not excited, I'm excited for sure. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. Make sure you guys go ahead and smash the like button, you subscribe to the channel, and you let me know what your thoughts down below on that settlement, on that reject. What do you guys think? And that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video.